Hello, my name is Matthew and I'm 8 years old. I am from Malta and today we will be learning how to start up any aircraft in the Airbus A320 family. Now, the Airbus A320 is one of the most best-selling aircraft and the main aircraft in the Airbus A320 fleet of Air Malta. Now, the A320 can typically seat around 160 passengers, but this mostly depends on the aircraft configuration of the airline. So, let's learn how to start up the Airbus A320. First, we need to go to the overhead panel and the batteries. Battery 1, Battery 2. These will supply the aircraft with a bit of power, but soon the batteries will decharge, so we need some sort of other way to power the aircraft. Now we can use the APU, the Auxiliary Power Unit, or the Ground Power Unit. We're going to use the Ground Power Unit for today. You will see external power, and the Ground Power Unit is power from outside of the aircraft. You'll see external power, and now the plane is now getting enough electricity. So now we need to turn on the displays. First we need to turn on the primary flight display. This will display altitude, vertical speed, heading, etc. Navigation display, it's for the navigation of the aircraft. And then the ECAM. The ECAM tells you a bit about the aircraft status and its information at that moment. So now let's start with the checklist. We're going to do it column by column. So we'll start from column 1 going down to up, column 2 down to up, column 3 down to up. So let's start. The wiper and rain repellent, we don't need to touch anything there. The coils, nothing is needed there. Oxygen, the crew supply, that's all we need to make sure. The recorder, the cockpit voice recorder. We need the ground control, somewhere like that. GPWS, we don't need to touch anything there for now. The emergency electric power, it's for emergencies, we don't need to touch anything there. Evacuation is for evacuating the aircraft in case of emergencies. For now we don't need anything. Flight controls, there's nothing we need there. And now the ADIRs. The ADIRs, we need to put them to nav, but the ADIRs are kind of the GPS for the airplane. So, ADIR 1, nav, and you'll see an on backlight up at the top. ADIR 3, on backlight extinguished. ADIR 2, on backlight extinguished. Let's go to the second column. We'll start with the nav and logo. Everything should be turned off. Nav and logo, we need to turn it into the position where there is a 1 or in the middle. Now the seatbelt signs. Turn them on. And the emergency light, we need to arm it. the overhead integrity lights. Lights, we don't need anything. These are kind of like the lights up in the overhead panel. Now the anti-ice. The anti-ice is basically to protect the aircraft from icing. Probe window heat, it's also to protect the aircraft from icing. And the cabin pressure. The cabin pressure is the pressure of the cabin. Now for today we'll leave it at auto. So now we'll come to the air conditioning panel. Engine bleeds are on, the packs are on, the hot air is on, everything seems fine in the air conditioning panel. Electrics, we've already done everything in the powering up the aircraft. Now the fuel. Do you see these off lights? Those are the fuel pumps. We need to extinguish all the off lights of the fuel pumps. Good. Now the hydraulics, everything is fine over there. So now the engine fire test. Sorry if this is too much noise. First turn off the master warning and check the ECAM and the engines. Engine 1 fire test performs really well. APU fire test, same protocol, just there's no APU down here. And then engine 2, same as engine 1. There we go. So now the third column, or the last column, the wiper array plant, nothing there. Engine, the manual start, we don't need to touch anything there. We use that for starting the engines manually, not automatically, like we're going to do in this video. The ventilation, we don't need anything there. Cargo smoke, nothing is happening there. The flight controls, everything seems normal. And now the radio, I'm going to turn it on. So now we're done. Sorry about that. So now we're done with the overhead panel. Now we can go to the pedestal, which is down here. The radio, there's also a radio down here, and the radio on the other side, on the co-pilot side. Good. So now this is where we talk to the. So here we don't need to touch anything around below the radio. We don't need to touch anything, and the floodlights, we only use those when it's night. As you can see, it's currently day. The weather radar, we can leave it off for now. The cockpit door seems fine. The speed brake is good, and the video, everything is good with there. We don't need to touch anything there. Now the engines. Now first we're going to check the ECAM. Everything seems fine. Let's check the status. Everything is normal. So now the engine masters are off and the engine mode selector is normal. That's good. Rudder trim, everything should be at 0. The parking brake, we need to turn on the parking brake. And last, it's on the co-pilot side. Everything, the radio is all the same, and the floodlight, everything is good. And now the TCAS now we're at the TCAS and the squawk code area. So everything is fine for there. The TCAS is standby. It's good. So now we need to enter a flight plan. I'm using a flight plan. I'm using my way of planning my flight is by online flight planner. Let me type in my password. Online flight planner. Now I've already planned my flight. But it's really easy. First you need to the fuel unit, you just need to, I'm using kilograms for this flight. The departure, it's LMML. That's the ICAO for today. And EDD and EDDM. That's the ICAO of our destination, Munich. We'll be cruising at an altitude of 35,000 feet. So now I have my flight plan set over here. It's the newest flight plan I could get. So, let's start. We need to go to FMCG and go. Everything seems fine. The active nav data is good. So now the init page. We're coming in from LMML, as I already said, to EDDM, which is Munich, Malta to Munich. We have no co-route because we didn't save anything. So now we can enter a flight number. Today we're gonna be using KM123. 123. The cost index will be using 15 for this flight, and flight level 350. That's 35,000 feet. We'll be cruising at 35,000 feet. Now we are ready to start filing our flight plan. From LMML we want to depart from runway 31 and we'll take the SID, which is the departure of GZO. Now from here we need to type in the airways. I have P126 for today, but it's only for one waypoint. And then I enter my waypoint, which is DIILIN. Then over here. Now, if you have DCT, all you need to do is go to that waypoint and type in the next waypoint. Mine is LEBNU. And keep going like this. I'm going to show how I'll do it, so you can do the same. Now if this ever comes, first you check the distance. The distance for this flight is 773 nautical miles. So these two could be one of these. But the 5,582 nautical miles, so we only have two that could be. So we'll go up, we have to go up and find it. Ours is 111.2. That's our frequency. So, there we go. So, now from there I'm going to continue. There we go. Oops. Yes, it's good. The waypoint is good. There we go. And now we are almost at the end of our flight plan. So now we're going to go on our Arrive at runway, and I'm going to use runway 1808 right. And I'm going to use this star over here. KOGO3A. Go to insert it. And now the flight plan is all done except for the flight plan discontinuity, which we can just clear. Now I don't need my iPad except for the fuel. We need 8,000 kilograms. I'm going to board a bit extra fuel because we actually need 7,874 kilograms. So now I'm going to press Shift 4. This pop-up in studio menu should come, and we want to go to load and fuel. This is quite a busy flight, so I'm going to do 128 passengers. I want 5.2 tons, which is 5,200 kilograms, and I want 8,000 kilograms on board this flight. I'm going to load it instantly, and everything should be good. Now we need the takeoff runway of 31. I'm going to use flaps 2 for a departure today, and it will make up the V speeds will be all automatic. Now we just need the fuel prediction. The block is 8.0. That's how much fuel of megatons. And now the weight. You can just double tap. So now everything is ready for flight. So we can do the before start checklist. Now before you do it, you need to go to IRS in it, and we need to align the IRS. So now the displays will become like this, instead of being all red. So now we are ready to do our before start checklist. Now we need to turn on our APU, the auxiliary power unit. We don't need our recorder for now, the ground control, we don't need anything there. And we need to turn on our beacon lights. That tells the ground crew we're starting up our engines. Now we can go, on the pop-up MCDU menu, Shift 4, we can do ground services. We don't need the wheel chocks or traffic cones. Once our APU starts up, which it's showing us the progress right here. Don't worry about the temperature, it's totally normal. Once it starts up, we can turn off our external power. You'll see an avail light up here. The APU bleed. Now we still haven't opened the APU bleed, but you can turn it on. Now we don't need our external power, so let's turn it off and disconnect. So now we can start up our engines. We're going to start it up at the gate because we're just going to turn off like that. So to start up our engines, first ground crew tell us that everything is clear, but we can check by the outside view. Everything is clear, nothing is near the engines. That's good. So now we just need to close up all our doors. Oops. Close up all our doors. Aircraft doors, the front left. We need to close the door, and here it tells us if the door is closed. The door is now closed and should be locked. The door is locked, everything is fine. So now we are ready to start up our engines. On the engine mode selector, you need to put on ignition start. Then we start up engine 2. or engine 1, which engine you want, you will see the N2 will start to go up, the percentage. And if you go to the outside view, you will see that the engine 2 is starting up. This is the engine 2. Engine 1 we still haven't started. There we go. Engine 2 is becoming stable. Engine 2 is stable. Engine 2 is stabilized. Once you see an veil light over there, engine 2 is stabilized. Engine 1. Starting engine 1. And now we just need to wait for engine 1 to start. Now, while we're starting up the engines, we can go to the hydraulic panel. After we start the engines, we could go to the hydraulic panel. Engine 1 is now stabilizing. Engine 1 is stable. So now we can go to the hydraulic panel to check the flight controls. We don't need to go hydraulic, the flight control is the good one. So let's start. Let's start with the full left. Everything is good. Full right. Neutral. Everything seems good. Full up. Full down. Everything is stable. Now we can start taxiing to the runway. So now we are taxiing to the runway. While we're taxiing, you need to make sure that you have the flaps positioned for takeoff. So now you have flaps in position for takeoff. Auto brake, max, and the speed brakes have to be armed. So now we are taxiing towards the runway. So, I'll see you when we reach the runway. Okay, so now, before we're going to enter the runway, we're going to back taxi, which means we're going to go to the end of the runway to turn onto the runway. Some airports have that, like take the example of London City Airport. In that case, we need to turn on the strobe lights. And for taxiing, we need to turn on the nose taxi light and the runway turn off lights. A runway turn lights. So once we reach, I'll meet you back when we reach the end of the runway. Okay, so we've almost reached the end of the runway. So we're going to do before takeoff checklist or taxiing checklist. So auto brake is max, signs on, the camera is ready, the spoilers are armed, and the flaps are for takeoff. Now we just need to turn on the takeoff config. That's tested. Takeoff configuration, everything is normal. So before takeoff, we need to make sure we have ATC clearance, which we do. ATC clearance we have. So then we just need to take off. Today we're going to use takeoff go around thrust or toga thrust for takeoff. So We've already reached the runway. 80 clearance is... We have 80 clearance. So now all we need to do is go take off. The V speeds are set. We should now take off. And let's start. So, full throttle. Now we want to keep an eye on the V speeds. At 145 knots, we will rotate. So the plane V1, rotate, V2. Positive climb, let's turn on our autopilot. Autopilot on, cruising altitude, and autopilot on, gear up. Now we're running on autopilot. The thrust is at climb, flaps 1, flaps up. Now the plane is now on autopilot. It should put the climb to our cruising altitude automatically. I'll see you when we reach cruising altitude. Now we still haven't reached cruising altitude, but we need to turn the baro reference to a standby. This is where the QNH over there. It's standard, sorry, not standby, standard. And once you reach cruising altitude, or we're still in the climb, but at about 10,000 feet, you can turn off all of the external lighting, except for the nav and logo strobe lights. Off the nose, off the APU, we don't need it. We're supposed to turn it off on the ground, but also we can turn off the seatbelt signs and the portable devices. Normally it would be no smoking, but now we can go and we just need to wait for top of descent, where we'll start descending. Meet you when we reach top of descent, or about 30 nautical miles. Alright, so now we've almost reached the top of descent, and I can show you by extending the range. In about 20 nautical miles, we will reach the top of descent. So to get ready, we need to close all the tray tables. Let's close the pilot's tray table. Oops, accidentally paused it. And also we need to turn on the seatbelt signs and the no smoking. So now we are ready to start descending, but we only can descend once we reach the top of descent. We've almost reached the top of descent in about 15 nautical miles. So I'll meet you when we reach the top of descent exactly. Okay, now we're just about 7.5 nautical miles from the top of descent. So to prepare for the top of descent, and let's go to the autopilot panel and turn the altitude to 100 feet. Once we reach the top of descent, I will press on the knob, and there should be a small dot. A dot near the altitude. About 2.5 nautical miles, and I'm going to turn my mouse 3, 2, 1. Start. So now, if you can see over here, there is a small purple dot. That is where we're supposed to be on the descent. So since we are getting pretty fast, there should be a sign that will say more drag soon. Now I know this is fast. Oh, look at Innsbruck, it's right in front of us. But now we need the speed brake. So we're going to go down to the pedestal and go to ground spoilers. We're going to turn them to 1/4. Let's just slow the plane down enough for now. So we should be descending to about 5,000 feet. But while we're descending, I will explain that today it's not going to be an autopilot landing. I am going to land the plane myself. So because autopilot landing is really easy, so I will align myself up with the runway. We need to go down to the flight plan. Somehow there is a flight plan discontinuity after MUN, but it's no problem. You just need to clear the flight plan discontinuity by pressing the clear button and erase it, then insert it. So I'll meet you when we are about to do the approach. We're about to turn. Okay, now if this message comes up, flight control speed brake still out, you need to go to the pedestal and turn off the speed brake. I'll meet you, and now I believe we're going to reach, let me check, I'm going to nav mode. Here's I think the part where we're going to turn, so the runway is somewhere there. I'll meet you back when we're going to start the manual landing. Okay, so now we've almost arrived to the part where we need to start. Now we've almost arrived to the part where we need to. Now we've arrived at the part where we are going to take control. So I am going to follow the flight plan. So now all I need to do, I'm going to disconnect the auto throttle. So now I am taking control of the throttle. Now I'm taking control and autopilot. Now the autopilot is now disconnected. So now I am taking full control of the aircraft. Let me lower my speed, it has to be below 215 knots. And I'll meet you back when we align with the runway. Okay, so now we are almost approaching the part where we need to align. Here I will stop the roll. As you can see, Munich is loading up right there. Right on the screen right there. Munich is loading. And Munich, it's Munich Airport, our destination airport, is right there, as you can see. Now I am going to stop my turn, start turning in the other direction. Now the flight plan. There we go. Now we can start our turn to align with the runway. To align, I'm aligning. Let's start a faster turn, as we'll never align. And now we are fully aligned with the runway. So we are a bit high actually, so let me reduce throttle as much as I can, and it tells me I need more drag, which is true. Let me get some more air brakes. The air brakes are at fully max.
2,500.
That's telling me how high I am. Don't get scared. And I'm going to be relying on the poppy lights. It's 2 red, 2 yellow. I mean 2 red, 2 white is the best. Let me turn the multiplier to normal, because I actually forgot to do that after I started the engines. And now I am right near the runway, approaching. I need to get some more speed brakes. And then once it's safe, let me explain a bit. Those 2 yellow bars right there, that means that's the maximum speed for the flaps. The flaps pilots use them, so that the plane could fly at slower speed, and they will create more drag.
1,000.
Yep. I'm going to try and deploy the flaps as soon as possible. And now I will deploy them a bit low actually, sorry. Now, landing gear out,
500.
flaps 2. The baro reference, I almost forgot.
400.
I'll put it back to normal. I'll arm the speed brakes for landing. The auto brake is on medium. You almost forgot.
300.
And I am pretty high, but that's no problem. Our runway we are landing on is pretty long.
200.
It is pretty long. 200. Don't want to rely on the poppy
100.
lights. Speed is a bit low.
70.
Low. Full
60.
throttle. Full throttle.
50. 40. 30.
Okay.
20. Retard. 5.
And touch. It's a bit of a bounce.
5. Retard.
There we go. Now, brake. Reverse thrust. I am pressing F2 for the flight simulator. And now, I'm going to return it to normal. Now I'm just going to exit the runway. Okay. And so let me exit the runway. Go to exit through that exit right there. Okay, let's go to exit via taxiway Bravo 10. Via taxiway Bravo 10. Exiting right here. I'm looking at these signs. This is Bravo 10. Okay, so now you've learned how to start up a plane and land to, fly and to land an airplane. So So, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss another video with tons of aviation information. Bye and thanks for watching.